then I'll ask the second part of the question.
Yes, I believe in the same year, which is 2025, in my opinion, there will be the scourge, the punishment, which is a judgment for the institution of the USA.
Anoti gore rimwe chetero 2025 ndipo pachange paine
Okay,
punishment
so
institution yeAmerica.
I'm not so sure if I'm gonna ask this correctly, but in my understanding, is that we usually mark the punishment coming after the King of the North sets up the image. So is it like in that, like we usually mark it at the loud cry, if I'm not mistaken. So I just wanted to understand that.
Yes, I will share my screen again.
Can I just translate, please? Tinowanzomaka punishment yeAmerica tichiti paloud cry pavanoita image of the beast. Saka ndizi kuti ndokunzwisisa kwangu here punishment inenge iripo.
So I have made the distinction here that I'm talking about this waymark here on the line of the institution, and this is close of probation. It is not the National Sunday Law, because the National Sunday Law waymark is on the line of the 144,000, and the test is here. The test and the loud cry, this comes here. So I'm talking about close of probation for the institution, which is shipwreck, and shipwreck is judgment. And the test for the institution was before. It was Exeter, or the midnight cry for the institution was 2021 already. So we should make this distinction between the line of the institution and the line of the 144,000.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay.
944,000 my institution. My institution in close of probation. But 944,000 you're the National Sunday. Into close of probation, institution. But
hi, Elena.
Hello.
When I look at the pattern, the repeating pattern of Boston, Concord, Exeter, one of the main characteristics of Concord is coming to an agreement. Is there like a way that you have shown on all the Concord waymarks of agreements that have been made on that waymark?
Yes, I think that my story was the third woe, and I think we see some similar characteristics in the story. It's basically like a movement, the jihadist movement, that also goes through an increase of knowledge through Exeter, and I would say also that they come in agreement on the Concord waymarks, because they understand their mission. They have an increase of knowledge on their mission, and they come in Concord. Yes, I would say this. We can apply this as well, yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question or comment?
Elena.
Hello.
My question also is in connection with the structure.
It's a bit, it's not loud enough. Can you?
Hello.
My
Hello,
Yes.
excuse me. Elena, are you in the Shona translation? I can't translate what the people are asking and you.
Oh, I'm sorry,
I
but
can-
when I'm in Shona, then they don't, I think they don't hear me, do they? I'm in Shona now. Is it okay? Can
When
everyone
you're in
hear me?
Shona, they can hear you,
Okay.
but they can't hear. Yeah.
Okay, I'm in Shona now, so it's okay like this?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, my question was saying it's in connection with the structure.
Mvunzo wangu wangu ari in connection nestructure.
You are marking the close of probation at the Sunday law.
Uri kumaka kuvharwa
My
kwemutsa
question
paSunday
is,
law.
who is
Mvunzo wangu ndewe
giving the institution probation? And if it's the end of probation, what's the beginning of the probation period?
kana kuri kuvharwa kwemutsa kwemainstitution aya kuvharwa probation yacho inotangira pari.
I cannot really understand. It's about, the question is about the close of probation at the Sunday law.
Muvhunzo wako uri kuvhunza close of probation paSunday law
Yes.
here. Hongu.
Maybe you can read your question in the chat
Pamwe
because
unogona
the sound is not very good.
ukaisa mubvunzo wako muchat uri nani.
It is okay. Meanwhile, I think others can ask.
Zvakanaka, vamwe vanogona kusana kubvunza.
Okay, Rachel, your hand is up. You can go ahead.
Okay, now.
Okay. I had a question on the structure when we were discussing the concept of Boston, Concord, and Exeter.
Ndine mubvunzo pastructure Boston, Concord neExeter.
Especially on the days starting from 2019, from 2021 to Sunday law.
Kunyanya kubva
Maybe from what I
paSunday law.
understand is when we are in the line of the 144,000.
Zvandonzwisisa paline
During the period of
144,000
from 2001 to Sunday law,
paperiod
Boston will
2001 kusvika Sunday law.
Will be 2001.
Boston
Then
inenge iri 2001.
2019 will be Concord. Then
2019
Exeter
iri
will
Concord.
be 2021.
Exeter iri
Then we have the Sunday
2021.
law.
Tozoita Sunday law.
Then maybe on the line of the priest, which ends in 2021.
Pamwe
Between
paline
2019 and
remapriest
2021, there is also that structure of Boston, Concord, and Exeter. But I seem not to understand on the structure which line exactly puts out Concord and Exeter between 2021 and Sunday law.
handisi kunzwisisa kuti pastructure iyi iline ripi rinobuditsa Concord neExeter paline
I
ravanoisarisa.
don't know if the question is clear enough.
Handisi kuti
Yes.
mubvunzo wangu wakajeka here.
Yes, the line of the priests end at 2021,
Line remapriests ne2021.
but the line of the Nethinims and of the Levites goes further.
Asi line remaNethinim nemaLevites rinoramba richienderera mberi.
And also the line of the institution goes until here.
Zvakare line remainstitution rinosvika richiperera paSunday law.
So also on the line of the institution, we have a waymark in between 21 and the Sunday law.
Paline remainstitution one neSunday law.
So I think we can also see this structure of Boston, Concord, Exeter in this fractal.
Satogona kuonawo zvakare structure iyi yeBoston, Concord, Exeter.
It's just the repeating pattern that goes through all dispensations.
Repeating pattern inoramba ichidzokorodza mumadispensation ese.
Does it answer your question?
Zvinopindura mubvunzo wako here?
Yes, it does. Thank you. Well understood.
Okay.
Hongu waita
Thank you.
basa.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, my question is, I'm considering all the first, second, and third war,
Ndichitarisa first, second, third war.
and I understand that the first and second wars are natural histories,
Ndinonzwisisa kuti war yekutanga neyechipiri mahistory.
which means the third war is a spiritual.
Zvoreva kuti third war is spiritual.
And I think the first two histories give us a structure.
Ndofunga kuti nhoroondo mbiri dzekutanga dzinotipa kutsvaka.
And thank you for sharing the screen. This structure, which you marked, it begins in 1299. I believe it's the 5 months.
Structure inotanga 1299 inoti ndofunga kuti nechafai
And ends in 1449.
yopera
Mhm.
Then the second war
Then war
begins from
yechipiri
1449 to 1840.
i1449 kusvika 18.
But also some portions of scripture suggest that the first war begins earlier than 1299, which is
Asi
at the rise of Mohammedanism, 606.
mama portion anoti iyo war yekutanga inotanga
And
kutanga
if you
kwaMohammed
considered,
06.
this is not my original question, but have you considered those two parts of the first war, and does that change or do anything to your study if you consider the first part of the first war? Maybe if you can answer that, then I will continue with my question.
First part yeyo first war iyi kana zvinochinja here zvaunodzidzisa kana ukapindura ndo answer mhindu ino.
Yeah, if I understood correctly, you're saying that the trumpet begins already earlier, before 1299.
Kana ndokunzwisisa uri kuti iwe trumpet inotanga mashure ma1299.
But I think the second war really begins 1299 as the Millerites are identifying it.
Asi ndofunga kuti second war inotanga 1299 sekuidentify kuti kwaitwa nevaMillerites.
So in my study from March 2024, from last year,
Muchidzidzo changu chaMarch 2024 chegore rakapera.
I'm talking about the whole line of Islam,
Ndinodzidzisa line rese reIslam.
which I start at the birth of Muhammad.
Randinotangira pakuzvarwa kwemunhu.
Maybe, yeah, if you have not watched it, maybe you can watch it, and maybe it makes sense to you.
Ukaona mapresentation vayo zvichaita sense kwauri.
But what I'm doing here is just not concentrate on the trumpet, but just on the first and second 1840.
Inini zvandikuita panapa ndinoconcentrata kumatrumpets ndingotarisa first nesecond war zvinosvika 18.
But of course, there's a beginning, a preparation, and also after 1840, the fall continues.
Asi pane kutanga gadziriro mushure ma1840 kudonha kunoramba.
Does it answer your question?
Zvinopindura mubvunzo wako here?
Yes, it does. So having this structure, if I may continue, having this structure of 1299, 1449, 1840,
Ine structure iyi ye1299, 1499,
which I think lines up with the Sunday law,
zvinonangana
the close of probation, and the second advent,
nekudzoka kwechipiri.
if I am correct.
Kana ndiri correct.
What
type of response?
What would you line up with the Sunday law?
Teacher, ukulaina neSunday law.
1299, if I remember the structure well.
Oh, okay. So you would place here the Sunday law, then here you would place
Yes.
close of probation, and here the second Advent, right?
Yes. Yes, that's what I did.
Also probation.
Which means a waymark before would be 9/11, like the birth of Muhammad, as you identified in your response.
Okay.
Before
So, what type of response will be experienced at the Sunday law
it is also
from the jihadist Islam,
the experience of Sunday
considering the symbols
Islam.
heart and kill? Heart for the first war, kill for the second war.
Tichitarisa masymbols ekuti kukuvadzai then muzouraya, kukuvadzai first war muzouraya second.
Okay, this is really interesting. I would need to look at this structure as you have laid it out.
Zviri interesting. Ndichafana kutarisa structure isi kuwaridza kwawaita.
I think the hurting is 2001 and Sunday law.
Ndofunga kuti kukuvadzai 2001 neSunday law.
Because at the Sunday law, it is close of probation for the institution, but the King of the North continues.
Nekuti paSunday law it close of probation but
so
continue.
So the USA as King of the North is not dead at the Sunday law.
Saka USA is King of the North inenge isina kufa Sunday law.
So it is another hurting. It is not yet the killing.
Kumwe kukuvadza kusati kwakuuraya.
And at the close of probation, it will be the killing when then the true King of the North, which is a God, will stand up.
Panotanga pakuvadzwa pozourayiwa then pepedzera pakuurayiwa paMwari.
So I would also see it as hurting in 9/11, hurting at the Sunday law, and killing at the close of probation.
Saka ndinoona pachikuvadzwa pa9/11 pokuvadzwa zvakare paSunday law pozourayiwa close of probation.
Thank you. So the heart is coming in two phases, which means we have 9/11 to Sunday law, heard, then Sunday law to close of probation, heard. And can you, in these two phases, where do the 5 months fall on in application? Between 9/11 and Sunday law, or between Sunday law and close of probation? Where can we place the 5 months?
5 months todzisa pari kana 9/11 paSunday law here kana Sunday law close of probation tinodzisa pari.
I will have to think about it.
Ndichafana kunofunga nezvazvo.
It's a really interesting thought.
Ifungwa iri interesting.
I also think that here in the middle there are some other events like 1453, the conquering of Constantinople.
Ndifunga kuti kune zvimwe zvitiko pakati pa 1453 kukundwa kunoitwa Constantinople.
And I really think we can place these events here in between and apply it. But I have not yet done it, and it's really interesting what you are saying. So I'm open to learn, and you can also share your thoughts with me if you want.
I'll certainly do that.
Say it again, sorry. Okay.
So I will certainly share my thoughts with you.
Okay, thank you. Nice.
I think the question in the chat is there if you want to read it.
Okay. Okay, the question. I'm asking your definition for probation. I'm understanding it to be a test, which we have understood to be 3 testing messages followed by a shut door. I need to understand if you are making killing of the institution at the Sunday law, or are you making as hurting of it?
Ndokubvunza definition yako yeprobation. Ndikunzwisisa kuti ndikunzwisisa kuti test iyo yatakanzwisisa iri 3 matest emessages anozotevedzerwa neshut door. Ndoda kunzwisisa kuti uri kumaka kuvadzwa here kana kuti kuurawa kwemainstitution paSunday law. Uri kuzvimaka papi?
I think it depends what we identify as the institution to be.
Asi ndofunga kuti zvinodependa kuti kuti mainstitution chii.
So I would mark the hurting of the King of the North at the Sunday law.
So ndinomaka kukuvadzwa kwe-King of the North paSunday law.
But I would also say that the democratic institution is killed at the Sunday law.
Asi ndozoti institution yedemocracy inourayiwa paSunday law.
So we have maybe two concepts at the same time.
Saka pamwe tine maconcepts maviri panguva imwe chete.
So we know there is shipwreck at the Sunday law for the institution.
Tinoziva kuti panopwanyika chikepe paSunday law.
And shipwreck is killing.
Kupwanyika kwechikepe kuurayiwa.
But we also know that the King of the North continues. He actually rises in power.
Tinoziva kuti King of the North anoenderera mberi, anenge achitosimuka mumasimba.
So it depends on which level we look at this story.
So zvinobva nekuti level ipi yatiri kutarisa nyaya.
Is that okay?
Zvakanaka here?
It's okay for now. Thank you.
Okay. I will read the next question from the chat. Concerning the definitions you gave in your studies about fair and free elections, of which I have clearly seen that there is nothing of that sort, why did the Democrats not do anything to protest the results?
Maererano nemadefinition awapa muzvidzidzo zvako maererano nemaelection ari free ari fair, zvandaona zvipachena. Sei mademocrats vasina chavakaita kuti vaproteste maresults iwayo?
I also wondered this. Why did no one do anything about it?
Ndakatoshayiwa kuti sei pasina chakaitwa nemumwe munhu pamusoro pazvo.
I think if the Democrats would have done something,
ndofunga kuti kama Democrats dei akaita chimwe chinhu,
there would have been a civil war.
Haizoitika civil war.
It would have been like January 6th, like a riot and violence on the streets. Because Trump and his supporters would never accept another loss of an election. So I think the Democrats compromised at this point. They played the game with them. They had to. And also because in 2020 they said the election was good, it was fair and free.
Muna 2020 vakati election rakanaka ranga riri free riri fair.
And they said there are no problems with the voting computer system and the software.
Vakati hapana matambudziko nemakombiyuta ekuvhota nesoftware nemasystem acho.
And everything was fine, they said. They were not able to say that this time it was not okay.
this time zvazvisiri okay.
So I think they had no other option than just to compromise and to accept.
Vava vasina imwe option than kungokompromisa nekugamuchira
Just for the sake of the union of the country.
kungoitira kubatana kwenyika.
A comment in the chat, but then based on that response, how then do they fight in the future? Because the same problems will still exist.
Maererano neresponse iyoyo vachazorwa sei kumberi nekuti matambudziko iwayo acharamba achingoripo.
Yeah, I think they're in the Democrats. They don't really have a plan now what they will do.
MaDemocrats havana plan chaiyo yekuti vachange vachiita sei.
They also don't really have a leadership at the moment.
Panguva ino havana mutungamiriri.
And there are voices rising up and protesting.
Pane mazwi anenge achisumuka achiprotesta.
But they are within the Democrats, they are split. They are not in union.
Asi mukati memaDemocrats vari split, havasi mukubatana.
So I don't know how they will behave in future.
Saka handizivi kuti vachabheheva sei kumberi.
I think, yeah, some will fight and some will just submit and accept.
Vamwe vacharwa, vamwe vachandosubmita nekugamuchira. Elena, but I think maybe
I cannot hear it.
You cannot hear me.
Yes, now I can.
Now you can hear. So if you please repeat.
Oh, it's cutting.
Okay. How about now?
Yes.
Okay.
Better.
So when we are tracing the shipwreck of the institutions, is it facing the Democratic Party? Because they were supposed to be the defender of human beings. Is that what you're trying to paint? And is that what's shipwrecking at the Sunday law?
I think shipwreck is committed. The sin or shipwreck is done by both parties. It is not only the Democrats. So you can translate.
Okay. Saka ndabvunza kuti tirikutarisa Democratic Party kuti kana kuti mapato ese zvikanzi maparty ese.
That's why I believe that not July is the Sunday law, but January.
Ndosaka ndichitenda kuti kwete
Hi,
July
Ellen. Sorry,
Sunday law.
if it was in Shona,
Asi
we
January.
did not hear the question.
Oh, what could you not hear?
The question that I don't know who asked it, but I think it's in the Shona channel. The English channel could not hear it. So
Oh,
if you can
okay.
please repeat the question.
Okay. Sorry, Justina, can you repeat it?
Okay, so when we are talking about shipwreck, are we looking at the Democratic Party because it was supposed to be the defender of humankind, or is
Okay.
both parties?
Okay, she's asking, when we look about shipwreck, are we talking about the Democratic Party because they are supposed to be the defender of equality and democracy, or of the people? So my answer to this is
Mhinduro yangu pamubvunzo ndeyekuti
that I think that both the Republicans and the Democrats brought shipwreck.
kuti vese maRepublican nemaDemocrat vakaunza kusainga
Because both parties are to secure democracy.
Nekuti mapato secure democracy.
The job of a party is to make sure that an extremist has no chance to rise.
Basa remapato nderekuti maextremist havazofumuti.
So first, the Republicans brought Trump up.
Saka chekutanga maRepublicans vakagadzira Trump.
They crowned him in July 2024.
Kwakumugaidza muJuly.
But then both parties are responsible to certify a president.
Asi mapato acho ese responsible kuti vape president.
And the Democrats, they compromised and accepted the election,
MaDemocrats vakakompromisa vakagamuchira election.
even though they knew that it was not fair and free.
Kunyange vaiziva kuti vakanga risina.
So I think it is like when we compare it to 1850,
Patinozvifananidza nayo.
the southern states, they were pro-slavery.
Southern states
The northern states were against slavery.
Northern states vachipikisana neslavery.
So the southern states were evil,
Southern states vakanga vari evil.
and then northern states should have been good.
Northern states vakanga fanira.
But for the sake of the union, they compromised.
Asi nekuda kweunion vakacompromise.
So they both commit the sin, not only one of them, both.
Saka vari vaviri vakomita chichena kwete mumwe chete wavo. Okay.
And that's why I think it's the sin of the institution has to be of both parties.
Ndosaka ndichifunga kuti chitema chemainstitution chinofanira kunge chine mapato ese ari maviri. Thank you.
Okay. There's a comment in the chat. The failure of the institution reminds of the compromise of Henry Clay in attempting to delay the Civil War.
Kukundikana kwemainstitution kunondirangaridza compromise yaHenry Clay paaizama kunonodza civil war.
Yes, that's exactly
Hello?
the thing I believe.
Hongu ndozvinhu zvandinotenda.
I have another question
Ndine mumwe mubvunzo
concerning the phrase Castor and Pollux, which
maererano
essentially is the description of the ship of Acts 28.
Castor and Pollux inova ya8.8.
Maybe I missed it, but I haven't seen you doing anything with it.
Pamwe ndairasiwa nayo sandina kuona chimwe chinhu nayo.
Is it because it does not add any value to your story, or
Nekuti haiedhi value kunyaya yako here kana
you just chose to leave it out?
wangosarudza kuisiya?
Yes, I think there are many more details in Acts 28.
Ndofunga kuti kune mamwe madetails akawanda.
And it is worth to look at it and to find out what all these details mean.
Zvakakoshawo kutarisa madetails ayano.
Also, Castor and Pollux, I'm sure that this will give us more information on the line.
Castor naPollux ndoziva kuti zvichatipa imwe information align.
Also, like Paul is tarrying 3 days at 2001 and 7 days at the Sunday law.
Paul achizorora paSunday law nepa2001.
I think there are many more details that could that are worth to investigate.
Pane mamwe madetails akawanda kuinvestigata.
And just for time, I didn't look at all the symbols, but I looked at Castor and Pollux. But yeah, it would be worth another study to go in more detail into this line.
Nekuda kwenguva handina kuzotarisa masymbols acasta napollax asi zvinenge zviri worth it kuti tizombomatarisa maererano neline iyi.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hello,
Hello.
I have about 2 or 3 questions.
Ndine mibvunzo miviri kana mitatu.
My first question, looking at the scenes of the Democrats and the Republicans,
Mubvunzo wangu wekutanga kutarisa kufema kwemarepublicans nemademocrats.
in the preparation for the past election,
Mugadziriro yeelection yakapfuura iyi,
they all knew that Trump was still under investigation of the crimes he committed.
vese vaiziva kuti Trump anga achiri kuinvestigatwa nemacrimes aakaita,
But he was endorsed to run for president.
asi akasimbiswa kuti agova arane for president.
Are there no systems that could have prevented him or wait for him to be acquitted from all those charges? Or
Hapana-
it was
Hapana here masystem aigona kumirira kuti akwanise kuregerwa kusvika macharges aya, kana kuti masystem aimudzivirira kuti asarana.
Yes,
or
there are.
or this
Hongu ariko.
So we had 2 impeachments
Tine maimpeachment maviri
and some Supreme Court decisions.
nesarudzo dzemusupreme court.
So there are several how is it called? Several processes within the democratic system that should prevent someone from office.
Ane maprocesses anofana kuita munhu kuti asapinda muofisi.
But democracy destroyed themselves, I would say.
Asi mademocracy vakazvidestroya vega pachezvavo.
Democracy is weak.
Democracy iri weak.
It is a process of fall in the last years.
Iprocess yekudonha makore apfuura.
Thank you. Question number 2.
Mm-hmm.
What did USA benefit from the initial withdrawal of troops from the wars they were withdrawing from?
USA yakabenefita kubvisa muhondo dzayakabvisa padziri.
Sorry, could you repeat it? I didn't quite understand.
What did USA benefit from the initial withdrawals of the troops from the wars they withdrew from?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It was. Yeah,
Yes,
translate.
Okay. USA yakabenefita chii mukubvisa muhondo dzayakanga ichitirwa iyi?
It was a promise to the people to bring the soldiers home.
Yaiva promise kuvanhu yekuti tiri kudzosa mauto edu kumba.
When a president wants to come to power, it's always good to say to the people, we will end the wars, we will spend no money, and we will bring the soldiers home.
President paanoda kupinda mumasimba achiita maelection anoti promisa vanhu kuti tichadzosa mauto kumba, tichapedza hondo dzese, hatichapamba dzimwe mari.
So he used this to get more favor from the people.
Saka akazvishandisa kuti awane favor kubva kuvanhu.
Okay, thank you. My last question.
Mm-hmm.
Do Democrats have hope of recovery at the end of the current term of Trumpism?
mademocrats vane hope yekurikavha here mukupera kwetemu yatrump?
If the Democrats will recover?
Uri kufunga kuti mademocrats acharikavha here?
That's my question, yes.
Okay. I don't think so.
Handifungi kudaro.
Yeah, we know that the institution has shipwrecked.
Tinoziva kuti institution yapwanyika.
And as we see in other countries that came to a dictatorship,
Patinoona dzimwe nyika dzakapinda mumadictatorship,
there is always an opposition.
panogara paine vanopikisa.
But it is suppressed very strongly.
Asi inotsikirirwa zvakasimba.
So I think they will continue to fight, but not at this strength, and Trump will do everything to silence them.
Ndofunga kuti vacharamba vachirwa havo, but vasina simba rakawanda. Trump acharamba achivanyararidza.
We also see how this is beginning now, that journalists really get problems, and he tries to even suppress some media.
Tinoona kuti zvakutotanga kuitika kujournalism achizama kutsikirira pasi vanhu vemedia.
So I think they will fight, but I don't think that they will fully recover.
Ndofunga kuti vacharwa, asi handifungi kuti vachatorikavha zvizere.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I also wanted you to clarify on the point that you make about Kamala Harris, where you say, I can't really put it in your words, but I'll just paraphrase it in how I understood you saying that.
So you have given us the triple six.
Elena.
Yes. I heard two people speaking right now.
It's because they
they can't hear you. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, I forgot.
Yes.
Can you maybe write it down? Then they can read it, or how should we do it?
Okay, let me write it down whilst the other person is asking. It's fine.
Okay, so Justina will write her question down because you cannot hear her, and then you can read the question in the chat. Okay, meanwhile, we can take another question.
So my question was, this is 6 January 2001, 6 January 2021, and 6 January 2025.
Pakapama 6 January 2001, 2021, and 2025.
All of them are Boston of the dispensation. Did I get you correctly?
Ma Boston ima dispensation ndizvo.
It depends
all
on
of them as well are at the. Oh, I haven't finished. Sorry.
It depends on the line. It is. It can be Boston, but it can also be Exeter, like 2021.
No vanilla and
the fractal, it is Boston.
Boston.
But in the big line, it is Exeter.
Asipa line home Exeter.
I didn't quite understand that. Let me maybe try and rephrase my question.
Okay.
So what I meant by that, I'm having these two sides of the same question. Is it the climax of the prior history or the beginning of a future history? Let me go exactly to 6 January 2021.
Mhm.
The storming of the Capitol. Was that the climax of the prior history of electoral process or the beginning of the history of attacks on democracy?
Kwaiva kuzadziswa kwehistory yakamashure here kana kutanga kwedispensation rights kutevera.
I need to think about it, but I think it is both.
Ndofanira kufunga nezvazvo asi ndofunga kuti zvese.
When we look at the line of the ship at X27,
Patinotarisa line rezvikepe X27,
2021 is when they almost were shipwrecked.
2021 panyika chikepe.
The ship was so damaged that they almost, I think they almost went upon the rocks or something.
Chikepe chakadhamejeka zvakanyanya zvekuti vakapotsa vapanyikira.
So democracy was damaged, but it was strong enough to hold.
Democracy yakadhamejeka asi yange yakasimba zvakadaro kuti irambe yakabata.
So it was like a warning. It was almost shipwrecked, but not yet.
Saka yakanga ichiita kunge warning, vakapotsa vapanyika asi havana kuzopa.
And they had 4 more years to prepare to, yes.
Vakanga vaine mamwe makore 4 ekugadzirira.
It was an exeter for January 6, 2025.
Yaiva exeter yaJanuary 6, 2025.
A warning or a foretaste.
Chenjedzo kana kuti kutiudza zvichauya kumberi.
But I do not know if it answers your question.
Handisi kuti zvinopindura mubvunzo wako here.
The thoughts you shared are helping. Thank you.
Pfungwa dzawapa dzinobatsira.
Should I read what is written in the chat?
Yes, please. I think on my question, I will speak to the English channel.
Yes, I think it's okay.
After the chat.
Okay. So I read in the chat. We mark the fall of the King of the South in 1989 to 91.
Tinomaka kudonha kweKing of the South 1989 kusvika 91.
And bookend it 2021 to the Sunday Law.
Tozo bookenda 2021 kusvika Sunday Law.
We identify the Soviet Union at beginning and Russia at the end.
Identify Soviet Union kukutanga, Russia kupedzisira.
Should we not expect Rome at 1989 to be different from Rome from 2021 to the Sunday Law?
Hatitarisiri here Rome yeku89 ngeyakasiyana neRome yeSunday ye2021 kusvika Sunday Law.
If so, I am thinking it may have implications on who is receiving the scourge or judgment.
Kana zviri izvo zvinogona kunge zvine implication yekuti ndiani ari kuwana punishment kana judgment.
In summary, may you repeat on what is killed at the Sunday Law and expound a bit if possible.
Mukupendera unogona kutsanangura here kuti chiri kuurayiwa paSunday Law chii wo expand kana zvigoneka.
Let me read again. Yeah, I think the King of the South in 1989
The King of the South 1989
is shown as the south wind,
iri kuratidzwa iri south wind,
which is favorable to the ship,
inenge iri favorable kuchikepe,
So it is the fall of the Soviet Union was good to the USA because then they could rise in power as unilateral world power.
Kudonha kweSoviet Union kwakanga kuri favorable kuUSA nekuti vaizosumuka mumasimba vari unilateral power.
But then later Russia stood up as another world power.
Asi kumberi simba remunyika
which was not good for the USA.
zvakanga zvisina kunakira USA.
And then also Russia has to fall.
Russia yaizofanawo kudonha zvakare.
So we see the south wind again in 2021.
Saka tinoona south wind zvakare mu2021.
The begin of the fall of Russia.
Kutanga kudonha kweRussia.
And this again is good for the USA to raise up as a superpower, as a unilateral superpower.
Izvi zvakanakirawo zvakare USA kuti isumuke seunilateral superpower.
So I think we have to say
You said you think you have the
um,
same?
regarding who is receiving the scourge or this judgment.
Maererano nekuti ari kuwana scourge kana punishment iyi.
As I have already said, I think there are two layers that we have to consider.
Sezvandatotaura pane maleya maviri atinofanira kuconsider.
We have the killing of the institution at the Sunday law.
Tine kuurayiwa kwemainstitution paSunday law.
Which I think is the democratic institution or democracy.
Andofunga kuti ndomademocratic institution kana democracy.
It's the sixth kingdom or the glorious land.
Ndiyo kingdom yechisixth kana glorious land.
But at the same time, we have also the seventh.
Asi panguva yechi7
or the Sunday law movement.
Kana kuti movement yeSunday law.
And they are rising up, I think, since 1989.
Vari kusumuka kubva 1989.
But I think this Elder Terry or also Elder Parminda explained very well in their recent presentations.
Elder Terry and Elder Parminda vakatsanangura zvakanaka muzvinavabva kuita.
But I think, I think we should look at this in these two layers.
Ndofunga kuti tofanira kuzvitarisa mumaleya maviri aya.
One is rising, one is going down, but it also goes parallel.
Imwe ichisumuka, imwe ichidzika, asi zvinofambiranawo zviri parallel.
Does it mean that at the worldwide Sunday law, the whole world will be ruled by dictatorship, or some of the leaders will be practicing democracy?
Zvinoreva here kuti paworldwide Sunday law nyika yese inenge ichitongwa nemadictators, vamwe vari maleaders vachipractice democracy.
Does it mean that at the worldwide Sunday law, the whole world will be ruled by the dictatorship? Okay, it's the same again.
Mm-hmm.
I think the prophecy is that everyone wandereth after the beast.
Chiprofita chinoti munhu wese akatevera chikara.
So what happens in the USA, every country will follow.
Zvinoitika kuUSA nyika dzese dzinotevedzera.
But I would not say that every country will have a dictatorial government.
Asi handizoti nyika dzese dzine hurumende dzechidiketa.
But I think elements of it will be seen in every country.
Asi ndofunga kuti ma-elements.
So maybe on the paper there will be democracies still. Also the USA, they will remain a lamb. They will, I don't think that they will ever be a complete dictatorship, like an official, by definition, a dictatorship.
USA vanoramba vari patifungi kuti pane patori nedictatorship official.
It's like Russia. They also still have elections and some democratic processes.
Sekuti Russia ichiri nemaelections nemamwe maprocess edemocracy.
But it's only on the paper.
Asi zvingori papepa.
So I don't know how exactly all countries will look like.
Saka handisi kuti nyika dzese dzichataridzika sei.
But I think we will see everywhere patriarchy and inequality and suppression. Yes.
Kwese tichaona patriarchy, inequality nekudzvinyirirwa.
I think we see all of these elements rising everywhere.
Elements ese atinoona achisumuka kwese.
My last question. So we are living in the information age.
Tikurarama mu-information age.
And when we are discussing what we observe in the wars between kings of the North and South,
patikutaura zviri kuitika pamahondo dzaking of the North naking of the South,
regardless of what was that happened in the spheres of influence and proxy,
panoitika
we understand it all as information warfare.
zvese izvo zvichiita seinformation.
Does jihadist Islam wage similar kind of war, information war, against the king of the North?
Islam jihad,
or their response is absolutely open fighting, like bombing and all those kind of things they do, like the 9/11. Do they have the capacity and ability to wage an information war against the king of the North?
Kupomba kwavanoita zvana 9/11 zviya vane capacity yekuita information warfare against USA?
Yes, I think it is both.
Ndofunga kuti zvese.
It's the historian Gilles Kepel, he is describing
historian Gilles Kepel anenge achidescribe
that they use information and social media and the narrative that they are spreading.
Kuti vanoshandisa information nesocial media senarrative yavanenge vachispreada.
They use this already as a sort of warfare.
Vanotoishandisa sekurwa hondo.
All these videos and picture of all those attacks that they are spreading in the internet.
Mavideo nemapicture vanenge vachispreada painternet.
This should serve as making the West or the USA and Europe fear.
Zvinofanira kuita kuti vekuWest kana veUSA vatye.
They should not feel secure anywhere where they are.
Havafani kufila vari secure anywhere pavanenge vari.
So this is already a sort of warfare.
Saka iyi itoriwo hondo.
But they also transfer it into reality.
Asi vanozozvitransferawo kuita reality.
So the historian said what they do online, they will transfer into reality, and what they do in reality, they transfer in the internet.
Saka munyori aiti zvavanoita online vanozviita kuti vive reality. Zvavanoitawo mureality vanozviita kuti zviendewo painternet.
And we have read in the articles that they have the capabilities to do really big attacks.
Takaverenga mumaarticle kuti vanotori nesimba rekuita maattack iwayo.
So I think it is both.
Ndofunga kuti ndizvozvo.
Thank you for that one. And I think it's necessary to put it in our minds that when we are looking at the response of jihadism as a scourge, we should really consider the information aspect and how they use information to wage that war against the United States. It's about terrorism, to put fear and insecurity in the United States.
Yes.
And we should not solely depend on the events aspect, because events is the culmination of the information that have been in circulation. So we should be able to trace down through the information until we reach an event.
Yes, it both belongs together.
Saka tofanira kukoshesa kuona kurwa kweinformation vanenge vachishandisa nyaya dzeislam nekuti vanoshandisa information.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Elena, for you have led me into a sea of details about jihad. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Toda kutenda Elena nekuti zvejihad neinformation yaatipa.
Hello, Elena.
Hello.
I have a question. I don't know how to put it, but I need to maybe to understand about the ships where you have put the second ship and the third ship of Alexandria, the ships of Alexandria. So I need to ask to say, so like the they are ending at the Sunday law after the Sunday event that we are going to be learning, or that we are going to be hearing about the institutions. Maybe what can I say? Or maybe the other version to say this is going to happen. Maybe are they not going to extend up to the second advent?
You mean that the line of the ships do not extend to the second advent? Or what did you say? Sorry, I didn't get everything.
You can ask her to ask in phone.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. I think it's not the network, it was breaking. Can you please repeat?
Okay, can you repeat the question? I think I did not understand it completely.
Okay. I was asking with the with that.
Oh, it's cutting. It's cutting out. Maybe you can write it in the chat because it's cutting.
Line in mind and where you asking to say
I think the network is not working. Maybe you can write your comment in the chat. Okay, I continue with the comment in the chat. About the fall of democracy, should we not expect its fall when it fails to bring equality despite democratic rules being followed correctly? If this concept is correct, can't we include the 2024 elections? Republicans did not break rules at that level.
Maererano nekudonha kwedhemokirasi, hatitarisiri here kudonha kwayo painodonha ichiunza equality nemademocratic rules achitadza kutevedzerwa zvakanaka. Kana zviri izvozvo hatigoni here kuconcluda kuti election ya2024 marepublicans rakatyorawo mitemo iyi palevel iyoyo.
I think it's just history that shows us that the Republicans do not follow the rules. So there is a whole history of voter suppression since many, many years. And I just cannot imagine how at this waymark they all of a sudden are not breaking the rules when they always did. So it's just history that is showing us that they do break the rules. And yeah, and we see that they fail because even the Democrats are taking part in this.
No, not only for the Democrats.
Yeah, and you wrote that regarding equality, in my opinion, this is exactly what equality is about, to accept everybody's vote and also to let and also to let all minorities, like the Black community, women, all other minorities vote freely. So if the Republicans did that, if they would have let everyone vote freely and fairly, then this would be equality. I mean equality in the sense of that everyone has a vote.
Equality in the sense of
but because they did not let everyone vote, it is inequality in my understanding.
I think if there are no more questions, we can round up and summarize.
Justina, do you want to switch to the English channel and give your question?
I'd switch. I don't think it's working. That is, let's see, we can pass the question. I think if there are no more
You-
questions, we can summarize.
You're cutting, sorry.
I'm saying I don't think my switching is working because I had actually done that. But it seems,
Okay.
yeah, I don't think it's working. To pass my question.
Does anyone else has a question?
Kana achiri nemubvunzo here? I don't think, I think maybe they are exhausted. We can summarize.
Should we close? Okay.
Yes, please. Thank you.
So I thank you for all your questions.
Tinokutendai mese nemibvunzo yenyu.
And I also offer you to send me any questions later if you want.
Ndinotiwo muzonditumirawo mibvunzo yamunenge muinayo later on kana muchida.
I told Justina that she can share my notes with you.
Ndakaudza Justina kuti anogona kushare manotes angu nemi.
So you can maybe go into these topics and read the articles.
Munogona kupinda mumatopics aya moverenga maarticle acho.
Then the things might get clearer because there are more details that I left out because of time.
Zvinhu zvacho zvowedzera kujeka nekuti pane mamadetails andakasiirira nekuda kwenguva.
So thanks again for listening, for inviting me in your group.
Maita basa zvakare nekuteerera nekutikosherawo kugroup renyu.
And I would close with prayer.
Tichavhara nemunhu.
Dear God, we thank you again for being with us.
Mwari, tinokutendai zvakare nekuva nesu.
We have many questions and we ask you to help us to find the answers.
Tine mibvunzo yakawanda, tinokukumbirai kuti mutidetsere kuwana mhinduro.
Help us all when we will further study these topics.
Tidetsereiwo apo paticharamba tichienda mberi nekudzidza matopics aya.
I also ask for unity in the movement.
Tinokumbirawo kuva nekubatana movement.
To find the message that you want to show us.
Kuwana message yamunoda kutiratidza.
Please bless this group and continue to guide us during the Sabbath day.
Kumboreraiwo boka iri muramba muchitungamidza muzuva reSabata.
We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Tokutendai muzita raJesu.